Hello, George Dunn here from the Tenant Farmers Association, stood on the famous College Green here just outside the Palace of Westminster, where many a political interview would have taken place in the past. And we're in the middle of a UK general election, and in just a few short weeks the newly elected MPs will be filing their way onto those famous green benches in the House of Commons behind me. And of course this week we have also seen the launch of the political party manifestos, and I just thought it would be worthwhile just to highlight the 4 key areas that the Tenant Farmers Association will be asking the newly elected government to take forward. And the first is to drive forward the recommendations from the Rock Review into agricultural tenancies carried out by Baroness Kate Rock in October 2022. It's a ready-made agenda for the government. It doesn't need to do anything in terms of policy development. It's there for them to pick up, and we want them to pick up the policy, the legislative and the taxation proposals within that report, including the appointment of the Tenant Farming Commissioner, which was announced shortly before the general election was announced. Secondly, we want to see fairness within supply chains. Growers and farmers have been treated pretty ruthlessly by retail supply chains, and the returns that they get for their labour and their investment are shockingly low in comparison to the returns to retailers. So we want to see a larger degree of emphasis on driving fairness within supply chains through the expanded role for a groceries code adjudicator. Thirdly, we are looking to the government to really ramp up the use of our post-Brexit freedoms in terms of trade liberalisation and deregulation to drive resilience within the sector. We've done very little of that since our decision to leave the European Union just a few years ago. And finally, we want to see the government having a better balance between food, environmental and energy security. At the moment we're seeing too much land lost to vanity projects like rewilding, too many tenanted acres being used for solar energy production. We want to see food security higher up the agenda, but within a balance between environmental and energy security too. So TFA will be out and about lobbying candidates, and we will be here back in Westminster once those MPs get down to business and the government gets appointed. So if you're not yet a member of the TFA, why don't you consider joining us and allowing us to drive forward the agenda for the tenant sector of agriculture. All the best.